I will never forget that first Christmas after I filed my EEOC complaint against NASA. And technically, I was on vacation and I was supposed to be enjoying time with my family. But in reality, a lot of the time, my mind was actually on my case. That's partly because I had deadlines around that time that I had to deal with, and also because I was still in the middle of being discriminated against. And if I thought about either of those things for too long, they made me incredibly anxious. Now, I hope that none of you are in a situation like that. I hope that you're all on vacation and able to enjoy your time with your friends and family. And if you are, have a great time, and I'll see you next week. But for the rest of you, I wanted to be here. And today I wanted to shout out a few of the really great YouTube channels I've run across that are still helping me learn about the process and the law. Up front, I want to say that while there are several attorneys on this list, you guys need to remember that I don't have experience with hiring them as my attorney. Although I can tell you that if I needed an attorney today, I would definitely check them out. And it's definitely worth subscribing to their channels. So let's get into the list. Most of you already know about Power Employment Attorney Vincent P. White.
Hello YouTube, I am Vince White. I am an employment attorney, and on this channel we answer publicly posted questions posted by YouTube users, getting folks the answers they need from an employment attorney.
He serves clients all over the country, and several of you have shared with me how he got you a big settlement. And he's been a good friend to this channel as well, which I appreciate. Next up, your empowerment lawyer, formerly known as Advocate Lucinda. She makes content that helps pro se plaintiffs stand up for their rights, and the information she provides is always right on point.
Now, some of you can expect opposing counsel to try to intimidate you, make you feel like you don't know what you are doing. Be calm, because guess what? As I always say, no one has a patent on knowledge. So if you don't know, you just go read up.
But what I love the most is the way she delivers it with all the good feels and some hope. Rich Prue is a former EEOC investigator and another friend of the channel. His content is packed with useful insider experience about EEOC and how it really works, as well as how to navigate the system. No matter what type of discrimination you're dealing with, his videos will give you the lowdown on what you need to know about it. Kevin Crayon is a Georgia employment attorney. Now, a couple of you have shared in detail how he helped you take on the VA and win, which is huge, because in the federal sector, VA has the most convoluted and difficult to navigate process that I've ever seen. Anyone who can take them on and win has my respect. And on his channel, he shares lots of tips for helping us build a stronger case.
It takes up to a year, unfortunately, for a judge to even be assigned and acknowledge your case. So you should use that interim period to study your report of investigation. Study, study, study.
Now, I don't think this next one is a big fan of what I do here on this channel, but I'm going to shout him out anyway because of his legal credentials and expertise. Employment attorney Jonathan Pollard, who practices in Florida. He wins cases, and he's been published in the New York Times, The Guardian, and other big national platforms, so he's worth a listen.
If you are an employee and you are being discriminated against, you are being sexually harassed, you are a woman who's not being paid equally to your male counterparts, you go to HR, you raise these concerns, okay? From this point forward, you have to understand that you are a target, okay? HR is not your friend.
One of the good smaller channels that I've run across recently is by Ohio employment attorney James Hucks. Now, he publishes mostly shorts that answer a lot of the common questions that I get asked.
A big mistake a lot of people make is that they will send literally everything to the EEOC. And I mean everything. They'll send an email that somebody didn't respond to, or they'll talk about how somebody didn't invite them out to lunch one time and say that's evidence of the discrimination. While that could be true, the EEOC doesn't have time to parse through all that, and they want to see what is the actual discrimination that you experienced. So before you get into the emails not being responded to and not getting invited to lunch, you have to show that you were discriminated against because of your protected class.
I really like the fact that he gives short, clear answers to common questions, And I like his slogan a whole lot.
And remember, if your boss sucks, call Hux.
And finally, there are two much bigger channels than mine that I want to shout out. Now, they're not EEOC specific, but they are incredibly useful for people who are in a fight like this. First, since around 63% of us who file EEOC complaints will end up losing our job, there's the channel A Life After Layoff. It's all about how to recognize, navigate, and ultimately free ourselves from a toxic workplace.
How many unplanned absences did you have in the past year? Oftentimes with an hourly employee, you might get this question because what the employer is trying to do is determine, are you going to be an attendance issue for them? However, if I were to read into this question a little further, it gives me an indicator of the company culture, and in particular, that department or that hiring manager and their philosophy around it.
And finally, Joshua Fluke calls out all the corporate hypocrisy that you and I know too well. And he does it in a way that always makes me laugh. We could all use more of that.
How do I say it? It's spoken like a true CEO.
And I also think that, and this is a controversial thing to say, people don't typically know what's right for them.
Who knows best? Is it you?
Do you know what's right for me, Mr. CEO? Of course you do. There's no way I can know what's right for me because otherwise I would be a CEO, right? But I'm not. So you must know what's best for me.
That's how they talk to us.
In the description, I'll leave links to some of my favorite videos from the channels I've mentioned here, and I'll also leave links to some videos from other channels that I didn't get to mention here because of time. And if there are creators that you want to shout out and share, drop them in the comments below. Binge out, guys. Learn something and have some fun. And I'll see you next time. Till then, take care and hang in.